It's time to begin the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting. It's Wednesday, November 20th, 2019, and it's 5:02. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, whoops.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've done that since I went to school.
You need to come to more select board meetings.
With the exception of board meeting. The town meeting.
Yep.
Approval of the minutes, November 6, 2019 Board of Selectmen meeting, and B, November 9th, 2019 Emergency Board of Selectmen meeting. Has anybody reviewed them?
No.
All right.
They're,
So do you want to
Can we
table
table
that?
that?
And we'll, yeah.
Make
Can we
motion to
just,
table.
honestly, you wanna just take a quick recess and we'll just buzz through that stuff?
Yeah, or we can just do it
We'll just
live.
do it now.
Yeah, we'll just,
Yeah, we just do it.
I think you were talking when normally we would have reviewed these.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, when you said insurance at first, I immediately thought like directors and officers insurance. So I was. So these are you.
Looked okay to me. I will. Okay, back to item 2 regarding the minutes of November 6, November 9.
I'll make a motion to approve both A and B as read.
Second.
We vote, all three in favor. Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 95, 96, accounts payable 93, 94, and 97.
Make a motion to approve A and B as read.
Second.
All in favor, all three. Open session, I'm guessing he's part of something else? Okay,
6B, we can skip to 6B if you would like to.
all right, we're gonna go right down to 6B. B is plowing contract.
Okay.
Please.
I made an amendment. I
Okay.
let you guys know. You can read it, Chris, and they can read it.
The amendment says, the first mile of the West Road from the intersection of East Sangerville to the start of the private section of the road is to be added to Appendix A of the existing contract. The contractor has agreed to plow it for 2019 to 2020 season at a price of $6,000 per mile. I wrote it, I don't know if Chris, you agree, it's a mile.
That's what I've always been told.
Yeah, I measured it, so it would be 6,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was my price, no matter if it was a mile or a mile one or.
It's almost like exactly a mile. It's like,
So do we have to make a motion to approve this appendix?
are you fine with this?
Yep, we're not gonna plow it every time we go by, but it will be plowed.
Well, it needs to be,
It'll be passable.
yeah, it needs to be just like all the other roads that we have. It's just part of the inventory.
So is that for this year, next year?
That's from
This-
now until May 1 of 2020. It's 1 year, 1 season.
My only thing is the contract is a multi-year contract.
It is.
So instead of messing with that, why don't we just do it as, you're just doing it like regular for this year? Just do it as a separate.
As a,
Then how you
instead
can-
of appendix,
Right.
making an appendix.
Well,
Because that was voted on by the townspeople by us, so I'm not sure if we can amend it.
hold on.
But I mean, it's an ad, it's not the same conversation, so, I mean, you can just, to me, it's just a contraction.
Yeah, not only that, it's not even fitting the time period. That
Okay.
contract has an additional year on it, does it not?
That's
It
what I'm
does.
saying, that's why I don't, why you don't want to amend the contract.
Right,
You-
don't cloud it with other stuff. Just-
Okay,
It should be just a,
Just separate it.
you're just
just
gonna,
separate it, I can do that. It says this contract can be amended only by written consent of the town and you, being the contractor.
So it sounds like we could do it.
Yeah, but I can do it separately,
Probably be easier just to.
and then you
separate.
can come in and sign, and we'll get the board to sign.
I don't know if we need to sign, do we? I mean, you just sign and plow the road.
I think you're right, yeah.
I will sign.
There you go.
Well, seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah, you're gonna have a contract
I'm
with
just worried about,
C&W
you're
for
gonna
1
contract
mile
going
of
out
road.
through another year, and we're gonna try to do an amendment and add this for 1 year, and this could just get clunky. Let's just leave the plow contract, in my opinion, if we leave the plow contract, and you just do what we're gonna do.
Yeah, truthfully, you're,
Okay.
I will do that.
Easy peasy.
Okay. And I didn't know if you wanted to have a discussion with Chris about what happens after next year.
Are you not, do you just want to address it next year, or are you thinking, I'm not sure I even want to do it, or where, I mean, what's the issue with that piece of road?
We've only did
With the West Road. We're talking about the West Road.
Yeah,
Well, I was under the assumption the town was gonna vote to not do it.
We could.
that may, or what has happened is there's an inventory of roads that were on a cycle. And so that whole process has to be started over again.
The ball dropped and then it got run over and it's flat.
Correct.
That's
Now
one way
it needs to
that,
be inflated and start rolling again.
but that's from quite a while ago, actually.
So
And there may be other roads coming due that
it
we
may
need
be
to know.
hard to sell the issue now, because if you've done it 1 year, then why not?
Yeah, and there were also some other
This one-
considerations.
There's some things from the state that doesn't say, that really says that if it's a town road, you really shouldn't, you don't really want not to be in control and not be the one plowing it.
Historically, what we've done here is we have said, we're not gonna plow a road, and then we let people plow it.
Right.
And the state, at least from what we all read, recommends strongly against doing that. So, and I wonder if we went to a town meeting and said, not only are we going to not plow this road, we're not gonna allow anyone to plow this road.
Then that, yeah, they won't go for that.
They
Right,
probably
right.
won't go for that,
That's right.
even though we've done it that way historically.
What we're recommended to do, really.
MMA is saying,
And I
if
do
you
the
don't
same
plow
thing
it,
down by the shop, I plowed all the way down what's still town road
Mm-hmm.
many a time.
and we have others that we're hearing, or we've seen that people are plowing to get either access to the lake or to their camp or, and we're starting to think that maybe that isn't proper. We haven't really investigated it, but that's our concern.
Right, it's the liability, who's got the higher priced lawyer that can manipulate the judge.
Well, I think MLA's position is if you let somebody plow it, you create a liability for the town. That's, because they don't,
You have no control
you
over
have no control of their standard. So
Right, and if it's
that's
icy, do they need to sand it, you know?
correct.
I think it goes everywhere after that point. I mean, you got emergency services, you got everything involved.
That's right,
It's,
that's
you
right.
know, if it's a town way, they're supposed to be,
Yeah,
And then you get into some roads that we don't plow because we don't think they're up to winter or spring traffic. And then somebody plows them and they get driven on, which we don't want that to happen. So it's pretty complicated, particularly when we don't have much of an enforcement arm.
Can you discontinue it?
Discontinued roads are,
we already have roads that are not,
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
that's the statute, it's, you know, to be maintained from here to here.
yeah,
But we don't physically barricade those roads after that point,
in fact, we're not even supposed to.
but we know others are plowing.
for instance, the Edgerly Landing Road, could we block that off?
That's a,
For winter, you mean?
Yes.
I don't know how, I don't know,
We probably, if we, my gut tells me that if we were doing it to protect the road, Knowlton Mills is another example.
Exactly.
It got torn up really bad because, and we weren't plowing it, someone else was plowing it. But then, of course, it got driven on. In fact, we were over there looking at that blockage at Beaver Dam, and it was right when it was a mess. Ideally, it would have been better if no one had plowed it. But can we block it off? That's something we'd have to check.
I would assume, and I'm just assuming that no mills with no residency, that may be easier to block off. But when you start talking the Bull Landing Road, when you
Or
have
the
people,
West Road.
well, people living in there, I don't really see how.
If you said to the residents that are down in there, we're not gonna plow it, and we're not gonna let you plow it.
so there are some permanent residents.
There are
there.
now, yeah.
Three.
And they've been plowing it for years.
Same way on the edge.
Yeah, but I was saying if we discontinue it with public easement, there's nobody living on our section
That's a different,
of the road, I wonder.
if it's a discontinued road,
Yeah.
the public easement remains. I don't know that we can block those roads off.
I don't know if you can.
No, I don't mean to block the West Road, but to get around
Maintenance.
maintenance.
We're already around it, we don't have to maintain it. That's why we don't, that's the way that the.
Well, the West Road we maintain.
Oh, no, I meant Knowlton Mills.
Oh, yeah.
Knowlton
Mills.
Mills is- That's actually deemed
Right.
as from
Right.
here to there, but that's a prime example of that's being plowed. We maintain it to the level that we need to, and it works well during the summertime, but it doesn't work well when it's plowed on and drove in the spring.
The Gray Road is a good example of,
Yeah.
we discontinued
Right,
from basically just beyond the Burgess residence. And we stopped plowing there, but we don't block that road on
Right.
either end.
right.
Now, if somebody, it's a snowmobile trail, I think, for the most of the
Yeah.
winter. If someone tried to plow it, I don't know that we would do anything about it.
They only try it once.
Yeah,
You are-
Well, it's all rock. If you had the right vehicle, you could probably plow it, but I don't know that we would care.
But,
But that's not a road that we maintain, so.
no,
Yeah.
But anyway, that's.
well, that's my only, I mean, when you start talking about it, that's my biggest thing is the Knowlton Mill really jumps out because that's a road that we're doing as we're supposed to. And by
Right.
allowing it to be plowed, and for that traffic in the spring, that's adding a cost to the town because you gotta clean it back up again. Whereas if it was blocked,
It would survive the winter better.
Right.
it would hold better. But I don't know if we can block that.
That's easy enough to find out.
Yeah.
But, and that to me is less complicated than telling people who live in a place year round, we're not gonna plow your road and we're not gonna let you plow it
Yeah.
either.
now, do they have, utilities down there at the West Road? They do,
Yeah, all the way to the water.
Comes in across
Off
from
the
you,
Anderson Road, yeah, actually right by me.
and then it goes across the cove to,
Yeah.
and then by Bob's and then across that cove.
Oh.
And
It
then
doesn't even go
goes
down the
up.
Anderson Road. Well, it does now because they're running a brand new power line down through there.
No.
It's close.
Wow.
Yeah, Ed, I was gonna use the nickname, but
Yeah.
yeah, Ryan's building a power line.
Yep, it's almost done.
Wow.
But that's a private line going
Yep.
to
One
Mike
place.
Bean and
Nope.
Chris and Linda Knowles. Oh, they're not getting any?
It's going to Knowles.
Oh, it ain't going to Bean?
If it goes to multiple people, then it can't be a private, it has to go back to CMP.
I think Brian was saying there was gonna be. They don't wanna pay.
I don't know the details yet, so.
But with regard to West Road, the status of that road is what it is until it's addressed. And
Yeah.
right now, there's no
Because
plans to address.
how does that work with emergency services, 911, when there are permanent residents at the end of a
Well,
road that we
I
don't
mean, the
maintain?
town, they voted a long time not to plow it.
Back
Yeah.
in the 60s.
you can do that. I mean, Atkinson has all kinds of roads they don't plow, and I drive my snowmobile down there at 60 miles an hour, and there are people in their cabins, they snowmobiled in there. And if there's an emergency, they're gonna go in on a sled and get them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's.
But in the sixties, MMA didn't say that you shouldn't, didn't suggest that we shouldn't allow private citizens to plow town ways.
In the 60s, you couldn't get to them camps other than the dry part of the year, because that road wasn't even hardly built in there.
Right. I don't know.
No, in fact, I can see the emergency vehicle argument being where your liability exists if you let someone plow it.
Right.
Because you've implied there's a road,
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
a usable road.
yep.
So anyway, I don't see us going there.
Yeah.
That road's, my guess is gonna get plowed next year too.
It's gonna be,
And I don't know if anything else is in the queue to come due, but we need to know that soon.
I've looked, I didn't find anything, there were 2 or 3 things with the West Road, one of them being Knowlton Mills, which has been taken care of.
Because
One of
typically
them
these
being
were
the
done in
Eastler
batches.
Road. One of them being the Eastler Road down, yeah, down,
not maintaining,
yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother project, that we have a number of roads that we should work at discontinuance.
I got all the records from registered deeds. I'm trying to sift through them. The problem is they talk about the road that goes from Mr. Smith's house
Yeah.
to so-and-so's house. And if it's like Mr. Jackman's house and it happens to coincide that it's the Jackman Corner Road, it's easier to figure out, but some of them I'm like,
Eh.
yeah, so,
without knowing the history.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, if you haven't done anything for 20 years, if you can document that, the process is pretty straightforward at that
Yeah.
point. You just assess
really is.
damages, and you make your demarcation, you have your hearings, you go to the town, it's done.
We consider it to be 3 rod and,
Yep,
oh,
yep,
okay,
unless somebody can demonstrate otherwise.
yeah, let them do the research.
Correct.
But,
Yeah,
correct,
that's
exactly
right.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some of these roads are pretty easy to demonstrate, no maintenance.
Yeah.
And with Eastler Road, that's been built up the best of almost any road in town.
Where's the Sangerville, that road, Sangerville owns all the way, I mean, all part of Sangerville, all the way across, isn't it?
All the way to the line road.
All the way to the line road, exactly right.
Crosses the railroad bed, it's grown right in now, you don't
Yeah,
even
you
know
can't
it's
see
there.
that. part
Yeah,
there.
I noticed,
Goes in, hooks to the left,
yep,
comes out right on the corner
yep,
by, with a line Shaw
Yeah.
Road corner, that's it, right there.
but once you get by the old Isla farm, it's really kind of deteriorated down over that
You
hill.
get to the last field, that's where Leo and Bob stopped paying to fix the road.
Okay,
And from there down, I haven't been down through there for years.
It's not, I drive a Jeep through there and I have the, it's not that bad.
you don't care what you do.
Yeah, no.
But
It's, I mean, it's still road width, it's when you're going down that, it's a little, it's like rocky from where it's washed, but
Right.
there's all pebbles. It's not like, the other road, but the only piece is the culverts out down by the bog. But I mean, it's not
that's
that
been out
bad.
forever.
That's what I mean, that's the only,
Right.
but it's
The
not
rest of
that
it's got
far.
that much rock and then
Yeah.
that much gravel on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
From
Well, that road's
just beyond
solid.
where you turn to go to my silos down. They built
It's a
a
road.
mile of road.
Wow.
over the course of 5 or 6 years.
I wonder when the last time the town did work down that far though.
1997 or 8.
So we might be good.
As far as after the silo road down.
So that's over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
From the last power pole down. So I think, what is it? I think it's a 1/10 of a mile.
How about the Grange, the South Grange Road?
That was something I needed to address, because the turnaround needs gravel, and the culvert before the turnaround got ripped out by the wing last week, I guess, and found
Last
in
week.
the middle of the night. So,
So how far do you think the town's maintained there? To the cemetery, before the cemetery?
they're supposed to maintain to the cemetery. They did bring gravel, my grandfather's funeral in 04 or 05, can't remember which.
How far do they grade it?
Ooh,
It's
sorry.
supposed to go to the cemetery.
So it's had yearly maintenance?
Huh?
It's
I mean,
supposed
that's under
to.
yearly maintenance.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. But it's, so when you say the cemetery, that the backside, the road actually
Backside.
stops at the backside.
The end of the field, the
Yeah.
end of the cemetery. But it goes beyond, because the town's
Yeah.
got a woodlot in there.
Correct.
As far as what their legal description of maintenance is, I don't know. But historically, I can say they have maintained to the
To the
cemetery
cemetery.
within the last 20 years.
So when they've taken wood out of there, they've just always done it during the winter?
Yeah. Because last time Dewey cut in there, father plowed it for him after it got froze in.
Right.
Go all the way in, hang a right,
Mm-hmm.
plow down through there, around. and
You could go all the way to Brockway, right?
Yeah, I have a Jeep through there too.
If you've got landowner permission to chainsaw, yeah, you can drive all the way around
You can
Mount
go
Bog.
Can't do it with a pickup, and the only reason why you can is not to do with the road is, I mean, the corners in there are really tight. So, I mean, you just need something short, but it's good solid bottom.
I've been through there with a Subaru before.
Yeah. It's a lot longer in through there than you would think it would, but when you figure you're going from point A to point B.
Yeah,
Is it the culvert by the Grants, by
right there
Campbell's?
up a driveway, yeah.
How many people are living in there now?
Well, there's one person that owns 2 residences in there. They're occasionally there.
So this culvert that was damaged, I mean,
It's
it's,
been exposed for years,
oh, okay.
and it's got the ostrich response. Bury your head in the sand and hope it blows over.
We've replaced a lot of culverts this year. If it was on the list, we would have been happy to put one in. I mean, it was,
It needs gravel, it needs,
Oh, road needs gravel.
So did the culvert get torn
oh, it's
torn
junk,
out?
it's gone, it's pushed in the ditch, so pushed into the woods now. Cut it out of the way.
Oh,
It was a rotted out steel culvert about that big around. It was probably full of gravel anyways, but now there's a hole there.
uh-huh. Mhm.
But the road is washed so bad that they really weren't doing anything.
So Warren took it out plowing?
Barrett did.
Oh, Barry did.
He hooked into it with the wing by accident, because you couldn't see it,
Oh, okay.
and ripped it right out.
Oh dear.
is this the first you knew of that?
Did he ripped it out yet? Is there anything we can do till spring? I mean,
A few loads of gravel.
Ground's not froze, if you
Is
get
it-
someone to put a
I'm
culvert.
gonna say we should, I don't think you got much frost in the ground, is there?
Not after this week.
yeah, it's supposed to be
Is it-
warmer, so.
I don't think there's any reason to put another pipe.
I was
there
gonna
unless
ask
you're
you.
gonna build it up.
Does it need a culvert there? Well, you're saying unless you build the whole road up.
If the road is fixed properly, yes. Right now, it ain't gonna make a bit of difference. But to turn around there, there's a big hole with a rock, and you can't even, it's a bad turnaround. We've turned around at the bottom of the hill in the lower driveway before, and we just tore out all the pieces on them.
Is it something you guys would fix?
Yeah, if we got time, but I can't. I had to keep ahead of what's going on right now.
Okay, so we'll have to try to find somebody to do it.
I talked to Zach Herrick, he did put some gravel at the end of Mill Street last Friday.
Yep, I see that.
And I was going to,
I just hope it won't turn.
that is a
Oh, that's what they
delineator.
are, I thought that's what they were. The delineator posts
Oh,
that
yes,
Ben
yes,
mentioned.
yes.
I wasn't exactly sure what they were, but I thought they were this, and that's
He doesn't have any. He recommended this
company.
Do they hold up to a plow though?
I think they're designed to,
They're designed to whip back, but I don't know how many times they'll,
I think you shear them off the ground when you plow.
might,
Oh, like they had on the interstate?
yeah, look,
yeah, it's exactly what they are.
I know an excavator will take them out.
Oh, well,
well,
we're,
I didn't know if that was something that
mm,
would be helpful on McPeters Road.
No, they'll die a terrible death.
Okay.
I'll guarantee that.
okay, that's the end of that. Okay,
If you put them right on the edge of the hot top, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Unless we just stay in and kinda, yeah, okay, we'll plow on those tools.
Well, that would be the kind of the point of them, that you could see them. I mean, if we line the road, you're not gonna see it with the snow on the road.
They're not gonna take that inch. I don't believe it.
Well, those were more like a, I was thinking just a, but that's what I found and that's what they quoted me
and they couldn't be placed, Chris, so that you knew that was where your plow edge could go to, so that you were on the road? You know, that your wheels were on the road? So they're not on this edge of the pavement, they're in the ditch somewhere.
If you set it 2 feet out, some places them are gonna be below the road surface.
Shows them in this-
Compared to the snowbank.
It shows them in this
Oh, I see.
illustration right on the edge of the pavement. It says, "The most flexible, durable, impact-resistant marker designed to withstand multiple impacts and return to its upright position." So that is what it's theoretically designed to do.
It doesn't say they're designed to be hit at the bottom with a cutting edge.
Well, I
What
mean,
if you grab the top,
minus
you bend it over.
this
20
is already reminding me of plastic color
Yeah.
versus
Yeah,
metal color.
yeah.
That's, I was asking,
Wait,
will they
wait,
take a
wait.
cutting edge?
and I'll ask.
Yeah, I think
That's
they're
the
designed to be plowed, but let's see.
And they come up, this is a quote on 42 inch and 5 footers, but they were as tall as 6. Which would be more obviously, but
Right.
They want for that $50 a pop.
40. So you'd have to decide where you really need,
3 of them by a load of gravel.
you know? If they won't work,
Yeah, I say they're
we're not
not-
gonna,
Yeah,
we're not gonna
yeah.
spend the money, I mean, but,
I mean, I could see like Jody's theory, if you had them out, say 2 feet off your road
And-
surface,
and-
and your wings up, so you're hitting them, but
Right.
not hitting them
Right.
at ground level. That's different.
Yeah, but as Chris also said, they're gonna end up being in the snowbank too, if we put them out that far. So it doesn't, it may not be applicable for plowing. It may
Yeah.
be for keeping people off of, you know, whatever.
well, come spring, I hope we'll have lines, and that ought to
Right.
keep people out of,
Yes, yes,
but,
that'd be great.
so.
Yeah.
And you don't plow the, parking lot in front of the ball court?
I haven't been.
Okay. I'll just
You
tell
never
Park,
plowed that.
oh, I got a email from Park and Rec wanting it plowed and plowed specifically towards Dexter, because they think they're going to need that parking lot for their event, December 5th. But as you said, it's not even solid, it's a,
They did that last year, they had somebody go up with a loader and we ended up having to put a lot of gravel in it,
okay.
because they moved.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you supposed to plow down the gazebo because they've got rocks in front of it, so I don't,
We can't plow, yeah.
I don't know. But,
They can bust out their little tractor and their snow blower like they did last year.
okay.
That must have been a volunteer thing.
Marty did it last year, I remember he was down there.
But as far as up by where the others they did that, somebody, I don't know who did it, but somebody used the town loader. I remember that, cause it was a big pile of gravel to the left of the basketball court in the spring. And then we had to hire more gravel in to,
Right. I can't remember if Lois called Toby into doing it or not,
I don't know.
cause I'm like, no, I'm busy, I got stuff I'm doing. Cause they wanted to make a ice skating ring like tomorrow to skate on Saturday.
Right.
And, well, they flooded it, guess what? The water soaked into the snow and they had like a rough slush ring.
Oh,
It
okay.
froze up.
Hey. All right.
But if they wanna plow, you just no different than anybody else, find somebody to plow it and it is what it is, and
No, it's public property, they can't plow it.
you can hire any contractor to plow it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh, but it's probably not a good,
Well, it's just not designed to,
yeah.
I mean, a pickup you could plow that off, but it's all gravel base. Up front.
Yeah, it's just knowing where the grass is and isn't.
Right.
This is for the 5th of December?
Yeah.
Is that 2 weeks out now?
Yeah, right now it doesn't look like it's gonna be needed, but you never know.
Yes, but it'd be better to do it per storm rather than wait until it's.
Well, that's just it. If at least keep the frozen snow back from the state down, then
So you think if I got a truck to do it,
I can keep an eye on it. I mean, if we get 3 feet, then that'll be a different thing, but. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see what the other parking lots look like after I plowed them once.
But it's not something we're gonna keep open in the winter.
No,
It's just for
no,
that one event.
no,
no.
yeah, they just,
So I mean, you might have 1 or 2. You're supposed to be good through the end of next week, right now, right?
yeah.
Yeah, a little more rain, snow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe a plow storm or 2. Hopefully. Hopefully not, but.
I can probably keep it open for that. As far as over to the gazebo, they're gonna have to have a
Snow blower.
or snow scoop or a shovel, or depending on how much.
Yeah.
Have they got a rock walkway, crushed stone, gravel, or is it just grass?
I think they tried to seed it after leaving it bare. So it's sparse, kind of.
But it's not rock, stone.
I don't,
I
might
think the
have to ask.
stone's just around the gazebo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
I think you're right. That's
I
right.
don't think the
There's no
stone.
pathway.
Because even, because if it's just dirt and grass, then if there's any snow on it, it ain't gonna be froze.
Yeah,
It's just gonna be a disaster.
I'll tell them to leave it alone.
No.
At least if they get out there with the trackless, I think we'll go down crazy. Tractor, they might be able to just back jug it and
Make it flat.
they'll be fine.
Yeah. Okey dokey. So I'll rewrite this, Chris, and you can just come in sometime in the next few days and
Alright,
sign it.
and if it's gonna continue, we'll probably be able to continue next year too.
Okay.
That's good. Very good.
As long as there's a little summer maintenance down on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove it recently. It looked pretty good. I'm not an expert, but it didn't look too bad. It wasn't like all potholes or anything. It was pretty good. The turnaround looked adequate to me. What do you think?
Better than nothing.
And there's an old road that kind of keeps going straight, that kind of gives you an opportunity to push snow out, and so, I don't know. I've never plowed, so. Because I don't think that I don't think that old road, I don't think anybody's going down there.
I don't know who owns in there. There was tracks in there last I was in there. Cause it's only that far from my house.
Oh, is that right?
That's where it goes.
Oh, no kidding.
That's
There
the
used to
other
be
end of this
West Road on each end till the 911 system. So then they changed the townhouse end to townhouse.
I never really got the perspective on how close those were.
I mean, my house is less than a mile from where that turnaround is now,
Huh.
coming in the other way.
Huh.
It'd be slick if it was open, but I don't want the traffic, cause it's not a shortcut.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely would be.
Wow.
It's the same way on the other end, I use the one that goes out through
Oh,
Broadway Mills.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah, it cuts around, I use Kittredge Hill quite a bit.
Mhm. Yep. No, that's a, I've been through there once in pickup. 25 years ago,
Mhm.
probably.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good, I'll fix that. Just the usual, since it's snowing complaints, you know, this needs sand, that needs sand.
Yeah, I'm
Do-
working on that.
Do the sidewalks, please.
That should be done tomorrow morning.
They melted out pretty well, didn't they?
Yeah.
What about the docks? Did the docks get done?
Yeah.
Got the docks done today. How'd that go? They weren't frozen as they were Sunday.
How much ice was there?
Manhattan was about 3 inches.
No
on the
kidding.
Yeah.
coast.
Yeah, they've been ice fishing.
Yeah.
And
Probably could ice skate on my pond. I
Yeah.
haven't dared to walk on it.
down on center, it was about 2 inches.
Yeah.
I was able to go along with the axe and just go chomp, 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 and they had
Just in the culvert was the whole pond frozen.
pretty much all pond, I think.
Huh.
They're both pretty well buttoned up.
Yeah, it's all frozen behind my house. So the docks came out without damage?
Not that I know. Well,
As far as he knows.
as far as we know. We hooked on to them, we dragged them up on shore about 10 feet from the water and as close to the edge we get them,
Excellent.
Good,
and that's where they're at.
good, good, very good.
And Father rinsed the loader off and put it away.
Okay. It's a good day to do that.
Hmm.
Nice and warm.
Okay. On to, back up and stop.
Sure.
Item 5, old business.
Yep.
Audit training.
We had somebody from RHR Smith come and do an audit training. She was here from 10 in the morning till, it was after 7.
Whoa,
We're
yikes.
straight ahead.
Whoa.
It was I think it was well worth it, good experience. She did a lot of accounting stuff, not just auditing stuff with us, so any little things that are hanging out there that should be cleaned up, she helped us with a lot of those. Unfortunately, we found a few things. There's a 2010 tax, well, I guess it would have been tax acquired property. It was a trailer. But it's still sitting out there in our books for like $62.24. At some point, I'm probably gonna have to bring it to you and say, we're gonna write this off. It was on the Gray Road. The address doesn't exist anymore. I'm pretty sure
So that was from when, did you say?
2010 we would have taken it.
So we've been audited all these,
Yeah, that's what we all kept saying. Why is this still hanging? Well, audits, they only spot check things
Sure.
and make sure that different things balance. If you have a auditor who's also does accounting, they tend to help you clean those things up. And she was helping us with some of those things, and it was a good experience. And how do we do this? You'll notice I've got a budget summary there. There's a grant. The fire department got a grant, and we didn't know exactly how to classify that, and it stands out. So, like when Jim was asking us at the last meeting, how much do we have in donations? there's a way to do that so that I can, at a click of a button, pull that up and say, you know, and so it doesn't hit the budget, because it isn't part of the budget. And
Okay.
so she was showing us those kind of things so that,
That's good.
and reports that we can run so we can keep it clean every month.
Uh-huh.
So I think it was money well spent. It was $100 an hour, 9 hours straight. Yeah, and we're having a pre-audit next week, which should in turn shorten up the
Final
audit.
audit, yeah.
Part of our issues were beginning balances, and I believe the auditor never sent them from last year. Lois had told me that. I told him a couple of times I needed them. Still haven't seen them, so when we see him next week,
Yep, yep.
just little things. I'm going to have to track we did a bunch of work on the town hall and agreed to pay ourselves back for that. I need to track that a little bit. We pulled money out of the forest committee reserve account every year, and so I've got to track whether or not that means that reserve is empty or that it went back in when we didn't spend it. So some of those kind of things. But I think she'll be a really good resource anytime I have a question or an issue of how to set things up. So that is basically all I wanted to tell you about the audit training.
Oh, good, I'm glad you thought it was worthwhile.
I think I'd have been happier if it had been 2 short sessions,
Oh,
but 2 shorter sessions, because
yeah,
at the end of 9 hours, I was kind of like,
yeah,
even she was having trouble
yeah.
keeping
Right, but we budgeted. I was looking at this page 4,
page.
debt services.
Some of these,
This
It's-
doesn't look right, that's why
some of these are not even part of,
I was looking at the fire truck, because actually we budgeted the full to pay that off.
right, so that's something,
So
I
it's
noticed
actually
that,
showing
I noticed that
we were
today.
145% overspent,
Yeah,
where we did pay it off, but we actually, that should have matched.
so that'll be a journal entry, and I actually think I can do that now, because
So right, I mean,
it's
I'm
just a,
thinking right, we had,
Yeah,
that was
you-
a separate line item, so we actually budgeted the full 17,296
right,
instead of the 11,867.
Yep,
I was just trying to look to see where we are overall.
Hopefully we did pay it off.
uh-huh,
I mean, the interest would be ticking.
Yeah.
pretty sure you did. But I'll,
Let's see.
but like on
So-
65, there was Stephen and Tabitha King. She showed me how to set that up separately, so that we can track it. They had $210 left to spend.
I like this one on page 3 too. It's piddly, I know, but I just looked
Well,
at the
these are,
percentages.
these are the times we,
But, so Parks and Rec, 40, insurances budgeted 75, year-to-date we're twice as much. So it's showing we're 198% over. It's not
90,
like-
98% over, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which insurance hit that. I'll have
I
to
mean, it's
check.
not a big number. By any means.
Yeah. General assistance is, was showing, right, okay.
These trash pickup was, that must have gone up this year from what we budgeted before.
There's something hanging out there that shouldn't be. That's just something to move. It was, Doreen said she stuck it there, and I'm like, well, why did you put it there? It overdrew the account. It's some little, I can't even remember what
where's
it
that
is.
down?
Trash Busters, it is.
Page 2,
Oh,
it's pit there, like I said, I'm not
Yeah,
really looking
yeah,
at the
you're just-
numbers,
it's
I'm
20
looking
bucks.
more
Yeah.
Why
on
is
the
this
edge to how
over?
much of it we've spent. So anything that's over,
Yep,
and we
yep.
still got another month to go, so That's what I'm kinda looking at. I mean, street signs, but you can't, you budget a number, but that's not irrelevant.
Yeah, and I had a lot of other people ask me for street signs, so I could think a little bit about that.
Yeah, well,
What kind of street signs?
Oh, my street sign has been stolen or
You mean
knocked
the name of
over.
the street?
Yeah,
Oh,
or we've put up signs for some of the private roads. I don't know if we want to consider
what do you mean, signs?
road signs, so, I don't know, I can't think of one that we've done, but,
I know the one, Center Pond Road looks just like every other, so I'm
Right.
assuming, I don't know that, but.
right,
But I think that's something to do with the 911 system, to why we had to do that.
right, so there are a few that are not, don't have signs, so we'll have to do those.
I mean, ideally, you wanna be hovering around 85, 90% on, I mean,
Yeah.
and we kind of, it looks like we kind of are.
Yeah, as a whole, it looks like we're pretty close.
Yeah,
yeah.
and you really don't want big numbers where you've only spent half, that's
Okay.
not desirable. And we don't I don't see any of those jumping out at me.
We do have, some money left, because we didn't get that last section of East Sangerville Road done, and we didn't get any more. We were hoping to get at least one more gravel road done, and we didn't.
But we do have plenty of money for some of these things, like Chris was mentioning,
We do,
and not gonna be a problem.
Right.
Tidying things up,
correct,
so, that's good.
so,
And I don't know, I guess if the weather cooperated, could we be back out on East Sangerville working again, or?
Well, the only about East Sangerville, if you do too much in the road, you gotta be able to pave over your.
Yeah,
yeah, so
Yeah.
I,
But you might-
there were
Yeah.
two more culverts, I think, that were supposed to be done, so we probably won't.
Did they get all the culverts hot topped over that are out there?
I don't know about the sinkhole, but the culverts were
There's
covered.
still 2 open holes that were cut out, that aren't paved in.
They aren't paved in. I'll talk to Ben Roundy tomorrow, because
I
he's,
think Ben,
yeah,
it was,
Might be
Yeah,
able
he
to
said
get
he-
some of that dirt road work done though, and then you wouldn't have to worry about hot top. If the weather allowed.
yeah,
Yeah, the only problem with doing gravel right now is you gotta get it compacted.
yeah,
So if you ain't got a vibratory roll, don't bother graveling it early. If
Yeah.
you're gonna do a section,
oh, okay,
because it's just gonna go right to,
just gonna get plowed.
it's gonna get plowed, it's gonna get rutted, it's gonna get mudded, it's gonna be a waste of money if,
yeah.
There's a few rolls around though.
If you can think where you'd like to. What you'd like to look at or would like to do, I can get on that. So, anyway, we can move on to, those are for you to look at and we can talk about
This is
them
a
when
good
you've had,
report.
when you've had them. This,
I think it looks really good myself as a whole, for sure.
I've been pulling stuff to kind of, you know, like MMA just sent us something saying what the insurance rates are gonna be for 2020. I've been pulling that stuff together. I got to get, you know,
Why does so much of the overlay remain?
well, overlay, we just put that in. We don't generally budget that big of amount for overlay. Can you tell me why we did?
Well, my understanding of overlay was it was really primarily a mechanism for the 2% discount.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
That's, and.
So we normally set it at 22,000. When we were looking at it with the audit trainer, she said, this is the amount it looks like you budgeted, and so we put that amount in to make everything.
Right, it almost looks like they did an
Balance.
overlay assuming everyone would take.
Yeah.
Take,
But I don't know why you would, I would.
Maybe that's the wrong way to have looked at it. Maybe I'll need to do
Or
another journal
maybe we look
entry.
at an average of the last 5 years, I don't know, but maybe you can't come up short, maybe that's why
Yeah.
she
Well, that's
did
the
that.
other thing is, I think that's why it did happen that way, because
You come up short.
You would, if you go wrong, you go backwards in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because we offer that discount to everybody and
That's right,
everybody's
so
open to
maybe you
take
have to
that.
assume that every single
And
person.
then whatever
is
you
gonna-
don't use is right there for next year and you do it
Correct.
again.
Yep,
Yeah,
No.
yep, that's probably it.
probably,
Yep,
'Cause I mean, that's the bad part of that one is,
yeah.
you know, it is something that anybody can.
That's
can
right.
Utilize.
And you kind of hope they all would.
It's-
you
it's
know,
well-
yeah.
Well,
You-
actually, there's a whole other argument to be said at
Well,
9%
I know,
interest, so.
I know, but we're now chasing people for the next week, and
oh
it
boy.
makes me nervous that we've got, I don't know,
I wouldn't,
A
I mean,
dozen.
it would be, if we had the numbers and you said to us, you know, it's never been over 30, I still don't know if I would dare to only do 30.
Me neither.
yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah,
So-
I,
Because at the other end, we're on the other end of it.
Cause it's year-to-date's 21.
Yep,
Discount,
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
okay.
Well, it's
Yep.
not gonna get
And
any
you
more
have
than
to
that,
budget.
right?
You have to budget
I
for it,
mean,
oh
you have
yeah.
No,
to
it's
raise,
not.
It's
you have
not.
to raise
It's not.
money to give
So you
some people
probably
a
could,
discount.
realistically, you could do
And
40.
add it there,
You don't have to
the
do
operating
68.
Budget,
That's right,
you work down from there.
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
I mean, something to
Don't
talk about
usually
budget.
get from 9%.
I mean, it doesn't, the money's there.
It's there, it's not really,
Yeah, it's not hurting anything.
it doesn't move.
no,
I mean, you're not,
But as of whatever the date is it July 30, or whatever that drop dead date is, you're not going, that 21.5 is not getting larger.
right, right.
it would be interesting to go back to like a 10-year history or something
To
to
see
see what that truly
historically.
is and to really evaluate what that's costing.
Yeah. Well. You mean like per mill rate or what, you know, it's, cause it's only, what, a,
Well, I do think it's part of the reason that our balance keeps going up, it's this tool.
yeah,
Right there.
It's nearly a half a mil
Yeah.
for everybody every year that gets,
yeah,
I remember saying in the budget committee, we basically raise your taxes
Well,
so
we
that you
do.
can get the discount and it's a swap.
Right,
Everybody pays a little bit more, so $21,000 worth of valuation gets a discount.
I know,
That's, I mean,
we've had.
no, I get
I
it.
sat through those
We all
conversations,
agree and
yeah.
understand how this is truly working.
I don't think anybody wants to give it up though.
No, because
isn't
I
that
think,
funny?
but I think truly what it is, when you look at the population that comes to the town meeting,
Yeah,
they all fall under this
Yeah.
evaluation number.
yeah,
You know, it's all that same, the
I
people
do
that
think
are
we could
involved
tweak it, though.
understand it.
Well, we do need those people in terms of cash flow. It's a good thing to get the money flowing,
That's
Yeah.
that's the true value of doing it.
yes,
It has nothing to do with being nice and giving a
Right.
discount.
no,
It's
no,
nothing to
no,
do-
no, it's to
It
jump,
The real
encourages-
reason is to
start
get the
it.
money
it
in.
We're
encourages
actually
the
not
money
even
to,
giving a discount.
No.
We're
Right.
raising the
Oh, I
price,
get
Right.
it.
and if you get in here in time, we'll give it back to you. That's what we're doing.
Correct.
So,
true,
Yeah.
The people that utilize it actually get a discount. Everybody else just pays more.
yeah,
Mm-hmm,
It's like putting a quarter in a shopping.
Yeah, you actually don't actually get it, I mean,
right,
you're netting out actually a little worse. We're better off if they just didn't do it.
right,
But
right.
I
But
suppose
it-
it does fill the coffers.
It does jump start and get it.
But we could look at, well, and we're off topic, cause this is
Right,
really,
right,
but.
right.
Well,
but
this is-
We
this
could
is-
look
So
at
we're
a
getting
more
close.
realistic number.
Yes, that
We're getting close enough. This isn't
Yeah, we
off
are.
topic. It's something to be thinking about for future here.
yeah.
I mean, if we've never, ever, in the last decade, exceeded 25,000, maybe 40 is enough. Rather than 68.
Oh my gosh, so that's,
Yeah, and I have to see how that plugs into that form and, I mean, cause
yeah,
when the audit trainer, she said, this doesn't balance, I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't balance? Well, you haven't got, I think your overlay is missing, I'm like, oh, well, we can, you know, you
Yeah,
can
and
pull
then
all
you
the
just
paperwork
fix
out
it.
and enter it, and, but it's like, what do you mean it doesn't balance?
Okay. Anything else on this?
What about
Um,
5B?
MMA risk management audit.
Okay, we decided on the town hall that I was going to call Carpenters Associates and see if they would be willing to look at the building, specifically the south wall. And they were willing to do so, but it's gonna cost us $400 to $500 minimum for a report. So I figured I wouldn't immediately schedule that, I would talk to you. I talked to Mike, you said you reached out to Brian.
I
but-
did call
but-
Brian, I
but
haven't heard back
waiting
from him
for-
yet.
Yeah,
It's just so, I'm a little surprised that these are the engineers that
Right.
designed that
It's
project.
their work,
And-
not their physical work.
And they don't
No,
wanna come
no,
look at
they
it
didn't
unless they
physically
charge
do
us
it.
$500.
right.
That's what
Do you know
it is.
originally, was they the contractor that actually, how did that work? Did we have a committee that picked them? Or did we
You
have
had
a
a committee, but-
contractor that hired, so they actually work for somebody else when they work for us? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't know.
Did we write them a check? Do you know that?
I could find that out.
I would answer that.
Mhm.
Pretty sure I could find that
I
out.
kinda like the idea of just going with a third party neutral advisor
Well,
involved and
I
get an honest
thought,
answer.
I thought if they
of
were
what's going on.
invested, they might.
Sure.
But then
But-
there's always the other thing, if you're invested, you might say, oh, no, it's fine.
That's true.
Everything looks
That's-
That'll be
good.
$500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so,
Yeah,
I thought
think
to
a
start
neutral
with them.
I'd say if we gotta pay for it, we might as well get a neutral party.
That's right,
no,
That's
If you're gonna pay
kinda,
somebody, I just
And
pay
get
somebody
some-
local. You get
and
Brian
somebody
to do it.
local,
yeah,
yeah.
or somebody he recommends.
yeah,
Locally
I'm
that he
guessing he's
uses
gonna
on a-
recommend somebody, but
Yeah.
I don't know that. But I haven't heard back, and I
Yeah.
would like to get rolling on, I'd like to get a response
I would do,
before we get to town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know, do we have a problem or not?
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, we need to know where we need to go with it,
yeah.
for sure.
So I can call a bunch of engineering firms, but I was thinking that somebody who'd
Yeah,
had some experience could,
I think
Got
that's
that.
the way to go.
so. That's all of
And
that.
I'll nudge, Brian probably would know people who
Yeah.
Yeah.
are well suited for this, so I'll see if he can.
Oh, I think if you get him involved, he works with,
They do huge projects.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
He would know the people involved that
mm-hmm,
tell us what we need to know.
Yep,
And he could organize that whole thing and you really wouldn't have to worry about it. Was what I was kind of.
well, I don't think that initial look-through is gonna be this, when I said to, his name is Randy Bragg, who now owns,
carpenter.
Carpenters, he said that he remembered the project. So, well, that's been 15 years, yeah, that, kind of like it could be the end of the life expectancy of this wall they put in, and I'm thinking, it's this wide and,
That's ridiculous.
I would
It's
expect it to last, 50, 100
Longer.
years,
Yeah,
longer.
yeah,
so
something like 85 years.
Stone walls underneath, it's been there 100.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Is it looking like it's tipping?
the bricks are
Mm-hmm,
tipping out.
mm-hmm.
It almost looks like the bulkhead is pushing in.
It's like the bulkhead's rolling into the foundation, so the brick is all, looks wavy, pushing.
But some people who were involved in the project said it was always that way, so.
Okay, is there a wall blocking the bulkhead from heat?
The problem is they've insulated it vertically
Straight down.
instead of horizontally. So I'm going to get Travis down there to
So
do
there's
it
no heat going in the bulkhead?
Nope.
correct.
So that's doing just what he said, the frost is jacking that outer end of that bulkhead and it's going.
That's kinda what it looks like.
I
Yep.
can find a house
And
that
it's a,
is falling in because of frost.
and it's a
Wow.
concrete bulkhead up against a rock wall, so I mean.
Oh, that's just what it did.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can do is block off an insulated bulkhead. My grandmother's house, same way.
So don't insulate it at all.
You
No,
can, well, insulate the top.
insulate your steel doors.
Doors.
But don't cut the heat off from going out
Let the
there.
heat
Right,
go out there.
Right,
Yeah.
because you just made a cold spot.
Right.
And that baby is gonna freeze deep.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's wet, oh yeah, that's just what it's doing.
It's gonna roll right in.
It's gonna pop that like a.
That's what's going on.
That's exactly what's
I will
going
call
on.
Travis, get him to immediately remove what's there and,
It'd be interesting,
You got
Chris,
15
it makes
years
total
worth of damage.
sense,
If it
but
gets done next week or next month, it's not gonna make any
I
difference.
know.
So I mean, yes, it needs to be done, but I wouldn't.
what's really,
Well, when he comes to do the railing then.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
I would add it on to it.
but there are people who are saying, oh, it's always been that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are.
So it'll be interesting to see what the engineer says.
yeah. That's why we need an engineer to look at it, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, even I'm looking at it going, yeah, I don't know anything structural, but bulkhead's the problem.
It does.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, even walking across the floors downstairs, with this being the way it is graded, that parking lot, it's, that whole floor system down there is not the way it used to be. I mean, that used to be a fairly flat
Oh, is
floor.
that right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 'cause- oh,
I've never
it's,
been down Summers.
Yeah, it's all,
Now it looks like panels on a balloon.
yeah.
I've been in enough old houses that
mm,
when you lack heat in the basement,
mhm.
it's
Okay, well, hopefully we get some eyeballs.
So I'll keep working on that.
Item 7, road commissioners report.
Basically, I have roundies out there working on the ditches, today and tomorrow. I'll get some of the little things, like, see if I can get some gravel out on the South St. Grange Road done. I'm not,
It's just a matter of communicating. As you can see, we've got the resources, we just gotta know about it.
yeah, we gotta get,
Like the Mill Street, your dad told us, and we were able to get it.
Zach did that for me.
a couple of years now. It's just
Well-
finally getting the right person that goes with it.
I got that done. Travis got all the, I think he got all the trees off the side of the road for you guys before you plowed. Okay, he went out, spent 5 hours, and
Yeah, I mean, all the driving around I've
Done.
done,
I
the
haven't
trees
seen
that I
It's
saw
clear
that
from
were
me
on the
up by you
road.
now, it
Yeah.
wasn't, but it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
now.
yeah. So if we find any, let me know, cause he will go out and
Yeah,
do that for me.
I've been, I haven't noticed anything alarming, so,
Yeah.
but I haven't been everywhere this week.
Well, I've been checking Parkman out, and there's still some trees going. Travis
There's
did a
one on
good.
McFeeters Road still, it's up
There
and
is,
right
there
there.
is.
We're just shoving snow against it,
Yeah.
be there till spring.
Yep. So yeah, and we're probably not going to paint lines because we've got sand and salt on our road.
We'd have to have quite a nice spell.
Yeah.
Good cleaning crew.
Yeah, unless you want to go out and sweep a mile of road.
I mean, you'd have to power wash the road to
Yeah,
get
you
it
would.
cleaned
You
up.
would. Yep.
Be
So,
ridiculous.
but
We need one of those drenching rains.
but come spring, we'll do it.
Friday,
Is it going to?
Friday, it's gonna rain.
Is it?
Well, if it's warm enough, Steve would come up and do it. I mean,
If you wanna wait.
I'm pounding the sand to it Friday morning though, cause it's gonna be sleet.
Oh, so there you go.
yeah, not
So
happening.
forget
Hard
it.
to
Just-
get.
It's all right.
Oh, I
We'll
know.
do it in the spring.
He said,
Memorial weekend's coming.
No one's
Yep.
gonna get to enjoy it anyway, for a long
Right.
time.
I know.
so.
yeah, at this point, actually having just a little difference in color with the ice and the snow and stuff makes a big difference in what it visually looks like. when you drive
Yep.
it. Okay.
That's it?
Other than roundies and a few small projects, I've got Seth, he's gonna bring the bulldozer in, it's up at the stump dump right now, so tomorrow we'll get that in, and
Does he kinda service it for us if you ask him to, or?
I got Butch too,
Oh, okay, alright. But it does get addressed.
has this year,
Okay.
so.
On to correspondence.
I didn't have any correspondence.
Request for additional agenda items. Selectmen's concerns?
I just have one question, just as far as, a review,
Oh, yes.
for our town manager, cause isn't it 6 months, isn't November?
I believe,
May, June, July, August, September.
We're over,
Yeah.
okay? So I was just wondering whether we should schedule that with Friday, or,
I think we should. And it's basically, it's a separate meeting. We
Right.
have an executive session,
yeah,
so we can do it any time that works for everybody.
Okay.
What's-
When?
We can do it whenever.
Yeah, do it midday, or, I mean, if you guys,
yeah, the only day that doesn't work for me is Friday, cause I gotta That's
Yeah, I tend
on-
not to be here Fridays because
Okay,
I'm at the mill.
On Thursdays. Sorry.
Thursdays I'm here one and a
I have
half
to
of
go
the
to
day.
class,
Oh.
so
oh,
I have
okay.
to-
So
You
next
don't
week,
get-
Next week's great.
Monday, let's
Monday?
see, no, Monday, other than I have a webinar for an hour or two Monday. Tuesday, we have the pre-audit. Wednesday, I'm,
see, you're busier than you thought, aren't you?
yeah.
I need
Wow.
mine Saturday or Sunday morning, doesn't
Okay.
matter. Whatever works.
I have to come down from camp Saturday to do church bulletins. I could come in, I could
Well,
come
that would
in.
work, Saturday.
I could do a Saturday.
Saturday, the 23rd?
Yeah.
Is that coming right up? This Saturday?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can-
Yeah, like 11, 10:30?
I don't care.
Yeah. What, does that work for you, Brian?
Yep,
Okay, let's do 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Okay,
Okay,
Calendar, so don't forget.
yeah, I know. I don't have mine.
anything else? I don't have anything.
That was my only, but I was just thinking about that.
An executive session? None?
No.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
It is,
Second.
6:08. We vote to adjourn, and all in favor, 6:08.